Guess I should turn that mic on first. I'd like to call this Dorchester County Council meeting to order, this June 16th Dorchester County Council meeting to order. If everyone will please rise for the invocation and pledge of allegiance. Councilman Smith will lead us in invocation.
Dear God, we call on your most holy and heavenly name. We'd like to thank you for all your many blessings. Thank you for all us being here today as we continue to do our county business in best way we know how. Continue to bless us and guide us and keep us safe. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. We have several items on the agenda tonight. First item is adoption of minutes from the June 2nd County Council meeting. Is there a motion?
So moved.
There is a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We are 6 in favor and 1 absent. Next item on the agenda is,
I gotta go grab them.
yeah, who's got that? Give you one brief moment. We're gonna get Mr. Byers is actually was the one that's gonna do this one, so.
I better have a copy of it.
Yeah, you got it?
No? You
Oh,
just want me to make something up? Got it.
I started to say your name when I looked there and Lona was a little bit.
You're in a headlight?
She will be back. The next item on the agenda is adoption of proclamation number 25-11 proclaiming July 2025 as National Parks and Recreation Month in Dorchester County. Mr. Byers.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Proclamation for the recognition of National Parks and Recreation Month. Whereas Dorchester County Council recognizes that parks and recreation is an integral part of communities throughout this country, including Dorchester County. And whereas Parks and Recreation promotes health and wellness, improving the physical and mental health of people who live near parks. And whereas Parks and Recreation encourages physical activities by providing space for popular sports, walking and hiking trails, swimming pools, splash pads, and many other activities designed to promote active lifestyles. And whereas Parks and Recreation programming and education activities such as nature walks, nature explorers camps, birding for kids, fishing clinics, youth sports, and environmental education are critical to childhood development. And whereas Parks and Recreation increases a community's economic prosperity through increased property values, expansion of the local tax base, increased tourism, the attraction and retention of businesses, and crime reduction. And whereas our parks and natural recreation areas ensure the ecological beauty of our community and provide a place for children and adults to connect with nature and recreate outdoors. And whereas the United States Congress has designated July 2025 as Parks and Recreation Month, now therefore Dorchester County does hereby proclaim that July 2025 as Parks and Recreation Month and encourages all citizens to visit our parks and recreation facilities and to enjoy the natural beauty of the outdoors in Dorchester County. Adopted the 16th day of June, 2025 by C. David Chennis, Chairman, Dorchester County Council, attested by Lona Conrad, Clerk to Council.
There is a motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
I thank you for allowing me to read that, Mr. Chairman. I really appreciate it. It's really fun to watch our social media with the parks and just see all of the activities and the programming that our staff is doing. Really, especially for these kids, the bird watching or the birds of prey that come in. I mean, there's so many great things that have been happening. As a former science teacher and an outdoor guy, I really just love watching it. I appreciate our staff really doing a great job, and I appreciate our community, just getting engaged. I think we're going to see a whole lot more of it. And it's great to be able to do those things in Dorchester County, and we don't have to drive to Charleston to do nice things. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Anything else? I want to get Austin and bring his crew up front, and we're going to get everybody up here to come down, and we're going to get in the big crowd there in the front. We're going to give you this. Thank y'all for what you're doing and the recognition of this.
We voting
Let's go down.
down first?
Yeah, let's go down.
Copy that.
Yep. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, we should. I see what you're saying. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
It is 6 in favor and 1 absent. I kind of may have known what that vote was going to do, but I guess it didn't need to be official. brave enough to vote against it.
Jeez. I have everything.
It all works. Just handed him my paper copy. He read it. Not a problem.
I had him sign so many things.
Or as J.P. Walsh is going to say, reparation.
As of tomorrow?
As of
As of
9
Tonight.
to the gym tonight.
Oh.
counting down the minutes.
Yeah, when we talk about park, I guess I should have said this, when we talk about parks, hopefully here soon we'll be able to announce a official kind of groundbreaking ribbon cutting, if you will, for 1,600 plus acres off of Old Beach Hill Road. I know that officially it's kind of in process with the South Carolina Forestry Commission, Dorchester County, Open Land Trust, but they have reached out, and I'm just keep an eye out. We'll be able to cut a ribbon on getting started on that one. That's pretty exciting. The biggest piece around. More to come.
I was going to say one more thing, Mr. Chairman. I mean, just from the park standpoint, we've got Pine Trace coming up this summer that we've been working on for a long time, and staff's just doing a great job. I mean, the feedback we get, I mean, when you get Charleston County Parks doing their staff retreat at our park, that's pretty special, because they set the bar nationally as to what a quality park system should be. So just real excited to be a part of that as an overall region and community. Our staff's doing a great job, so thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. He's back on, sorry. Next item on the agenda is public hearing and third reading of an ordinance number 25-09, an ordinance to amend Dorchester County zoning and land development standards, ordinance number 0413, as previously amended with respect to Article 21, required improvement construction standards to amend Section 21.4 streets.
Second.
And I will open the public hearing. I will close the public hearing. There is a motion and a second previously to that public hearing. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We are unanimous. 6 in favor, 1 absent. Let me be very specific there. Next item on the agenda is a public hearing and third reading of an ordinance number 25-10, an ordinance to amend the Code of Ordinances of Dorchester County, South Carolina by deleting Chapter 20, Article 5, Hospitality Tax, Section 40-106, Distribution of Funds, and substituting in lieu thereof a new Section 40-106, Distribution of Funds. I will open the public hearing. I will close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
So moved.
There are 2 motions and a second. All in favor, or any discussion? All in favor? There are 6 in favor and 1 absent. Next item on the agenda is adoption of resolution number 25-09, a resolution approving the Dorchester County Fire Year Capital Improvement Plan. That's 5, not fire. The fiscal year, I'm looking at that thinking, wait a minute. The fiscal year capital improvement plan for 2026 through 2030. Do we have a motion?
So
I think
moved.
you have this in front of you. There is a motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, sir. I had a question just from a discussion standpoint. I was actually thumbing through it, and I looked through it over the weekend. So I noticed one of the things we were talking about on the 1,600 acres that you'd mentioned earlier, Mr. Chairman, is, we've been talking about building a public gun range for the public, but also for our LEOs to train on. And I notice at, in the sheriff's office capital improvement plan, the weapon training facility is unfunded, but this is something we would integrate into that same concept, correct, Mr. Ward?
It is. We spoke to Sheriff Richardson last week. Currently, he's using a piece of property that Mr. Judy has.
Yes.
And he has expressed the desire to have his own range, so he's going to work with us on that.
Okay, his own range being
As in
county,
not.
not Mr. Judy's.
Yes, correct. Just to
Understood.
be very clear.
And I believe if we do this right, from conversations I've had, I believe we can have other county partners that would be very interested in helping us with this
Yes.
as well. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Byers, just very, very briefly, and again, initial conversation with folks from Forestry Commission and some subsequent conversation with some of the folks from DNR, not at the level, but certainly there was a large amount of interest. At the time, things may have changed a little bit, but at the time, I want to say Fish and Wildlife, but one of the federal organizations actually had a 90-10 match. So they would provide 90% of the funding with a 10% local match in funding the construction of some of these shooting ranges from that standpoint. South Carolina DNR, in conjunction with the Forestry Commission, has operated certain local military/law enforcement gun ranges that are public, but certain days of the week they're closed from a standpoint of military and law enforcement. There are none in this region.
No.
They are much, they're more in the sandhills from that standpoint. So they were very interested in that opportunity. I will continue to I was trying to get this thing actually buttoned up and locked down before we got any further, but there seemed to be a very high amount of interest with, at least among some of the DNR folks locally, without question. We just have to get it interested at the state level as well, but I don't think that'll be a problem.
I think the closest DNR range is up in Francis Marion National Forest. It's a pretty good
exactly.
piece up there. And
Maybe
they've
not.
done a good job bringing it up to speed, but we certainly need something over here
The newest one is in Wateree,
okay.
so.
Well, and I've talked to a couple of you guys privately, but I mean, Cleveland County's got one that's just off the chain great. They took an old landfill site, repurposed it, and did a lot of grant funding to build something that's just world-class. I think we could certainly do something similar with this piece of property.
And the private ones here are completely booked. I mean, not booked, but they're
Waiting list.
wait lists on those too. So being open to the public would be huge.
All right. Gotta get the right spot here.
Did we vote on that?
Oh, we did not.
No? Okay.
Discussion.
I got us off on a tangent.
Any other discussion? All in favor? We are 6 in favor, 1 absent. There were no requests to address council tonight, so the next item on the agenda is correspondence. Mr. Ward?
Mr. Chairman, we delivered those items as they were received. As we receive additional items, we will send them to you.
Very good. Next item on the agenda is our special guest tonight, Ms. Denise Christmas, Deputy Administrator, CFO, for a presentation of the May 2025 monthly budget report, followed by Mr. Adam Davis, and then Ms. Sunshine Tracus, and finally, the ever illustrious Mr. Larry Harper. Good evening.
No, you're not. Me? Yeah, there it goes. Okay. So tonight, we're going to talk about the monthly report for May. For the general fund, our revenues are at 92.6% collected, and our expenditures are at 83.7%. So we have received 93.7% of our property tax revenue to date. And it looks like we have received April's collections in May, and that's, what we do each and every month. So we are starting to collect, to post May's collections in June right now. And those revenues will be coming in all the way through July as far as posting goes. So we'll get a more accurate picture of where we stand in the July report. Our business license fees and building permits make up 43.2% and 50.3% of the category of licenses and permits. So we have met budget for that line item, and we exceeded it a little bit. Our intergovernmental revenue, we've received 3/4 of our LGF funding, so we should receive our final quarter in August. and expenditures are below budget at 83.7%. That's the general fund. For the library fund, we've collected 89.2% of our revenue and have expended 82.4%. For the capital fund, we have received 55.9% of our budgeted revenues and have expended 61.4%. The reason why that percentage is lower than the others is because we budgeted for fund balance, for the use of fund balance, and of course you don't collect that. So that's the capital fund. For the fire fund, we have collected 89.8% of our budgeted revenues and have expended 86.1%. So we are under budget as well for the fire fund. For the water and sewer fund, we have collected 91.6% of our budgeted revenues and expended 56.7%. So our budget amendment, as you recall, was for the, we amended our budget for the 2024 revenue bond proceeds, which increased that budget by $88.3 million. Okay, so that's a better, a more accurate reflection this month on this report. So the water and sewer impact fees for the month of May, we've collected 129.4% of our budgeted revenues and have expended 19.7%. For the stormwater fund, we have collected 50.2% of our revenues and have expended 48.8% of our expenses. And the solid waste fund, our revenues are at 80.4% collected and our expenses are 57.6%. As far as ARPA goes, through the month of May, we have remaining available to be spent $3,299,862. We have expended 90.3% of our ARPA funds. And there's a listing you should have on your handout of all the projects and what has been completed and what is not complete right now. And there's only, I think, 3 maybe incomplete projects. The coroner's facility is one. The fire headquarters in Troy Knight Judicial Complex is another, and the health facility I know is another one. I'm not reading this. I'm just going off memory, so I don't. Let's see. There may be 4 projects that are not complete, but all of this money has to be expended before December of 2026, and that is our plan. Any questions?
Homeless shelter is the other one.
Homeless shelter. Thank you, Mr. Ward. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, good evening, Chairman Chinnis, members of council, Mr. Ward. Under capital projects update, the mixed-use development of 500 North Main Street. As you're aware, the PSA extension was approved last month. The county and Furman are continuing to work towards approval with the town of Somerville. The coroner's office site work is continuing. Staff held a meeting on June the 12th to discuss project schedule and a schedule of values. Oak Brook Sports Complex, a pre-construction meeting is scheduled for tomorrow to discuss next steps and project scope. The county is working with the YMCA to provide a project and programming schedule that is most effective for both parties. Pine Trace Park, fixtures, furnishings, and equipment will be coming in over the next few weeks. The signage vendor will be on site this week to continue installation as well. That's about a third of the way complete. Power to the site went live last week. Vendors will be on site this week testing the startup of equipment, and the playground is about 50% complete. St. George Health Care Facility, contractor has mobilized and is on site starting demo. A groundbreaking will be held on June the 30th. Station 8 in Ridgeville, the county anticipates receiving design documents next week. Summers Corner Fire and EMS, Lennar and the county are working on the conveyance of property and easement agreements. Pending the turnaround on that, we have placed holds on your calendar for a groundbreaking ceremony. in the Veterans Facility. We conducted a 3D scan of the building last week, and design is underway with SMHA. That concludes my update. Any questions?
I've got one, and I think I know part of the answer, but on the Summers Corner Fire Station, we're moving along. You're getting the responses timely?
Correct. We're trying to push that across the finish line.
Good, all right. Thank you.
Good evening, Mr. Ward, Mr. Chairman, and members of council. For First Bend Road and Rice Mill Drive, final design and permitting is nearing completion. We were awarded a $1.25 million RIA grant for construction, and we held a grant kickoff meeting with the Rural Infrastructure Authority on June 10th. For the design build bridge replacement package, we've received all our permits for the Deer Run Bridge and are coordinating to begin construction in the next 2 weeks. For the remaining 2 bridges at Summers Drive and Pointer Drive, right-of-way acquisition and permitting efforts continue. For the Ashley River Park connector, we're continuing with utility coordination as we move into the final design and permitting, and we expect to bid for construction by the end of this year. For Ladson Road streetscaping, we've received an estimate from one of our jock contractors, and it appears to be in line with our engineer's estimate, so we're reviewing that in more detail and ironing out some remaining items like the conduit that we will need to install for the street lighting, as well as updating our specifications package to DOT's new 2025 standard specifications. The Oak Brook wayfinding signage, the town is drafting an IGA for construction since we'll be bidding both the county's and the town's wayfinding projects as one, but paying for them independently. And we're also working to prepare the CEI task order. For Spring Road, construction continues, and the contractor has started the cement modified recycled base reclamation work. Construction is expected to be substantially complete this December. For Maple Street widening, in May, the contractor completed a lot of the work in the railroad section of the project. They're also about 80% complete with the concrete work from Highway 78 to the interstate end of the project. Road paving in that area will be completed once the Dominion power poles are relocated, which is anticipated to be done by the end of June. For Sawmill Branch Trail Extension, our 404 and 408 permit application packages were submitted to the Corps last Friday. An on-site field review meeting with the utilities was held on June 10th, and we're also nailing down a schedule to hold an online public meeting for the project. For 27 widening, we are addressing latest comments from the EDA, and that includes updating our specifications to DOT's new 2025 standard specifications that were released this year, and we plan to resubmit back to the EDA this week. For US Highway 78 Phase 3A, right-of-way acquisition, permitting, utility coordination, and final plan development continue. We'll be holding a value engineering workshop with DOT and the engineering consultant team this Wednesday through Friday. We're also meeting with DOT's environmental group on June 17th to discuss some environmental changes in the regulations that may affect our core permit. For US 78 Phase 3B, right-of-way agent has been sending out initial contact letters and meeting with the property owners as the title opinions are received. For Central Avenue and Parsons Road improvements, we held a public information meeting last week on June 10th, and it was very well attended. We had over 200 attendees that signed in, so we probably had more. All the public meeting materials are available online on the project website, and we'll be accepting public comments through July 10th. For Dorchester Road improvements, we are gearing up for the public information meeting, and it's scheduled to be held on July 15th. From 5 to 7 p.m. at Fort Dorchester High School, and the concepts that we'll be presenting will include interchange alternatives at the Oak Brook intersections. For Delamar Highway improvements, the geotechnical field work and environmental studies continue. We're working to split this project up into 2, the one section from Ashley Ridge High School to Clayfield Trail that will be funded by the Homecoming Development, and then the second section from Clayfield Trail to Clubhouse Road. For Linger Longer Drive Extension, the engineering consultant has addressed the county's comments on the 60% plans and preparing to move forward with the right-of-way and easement acquisition. For Main Street improvements, field surveys and subsurface utility investigations are continuing through July. For Miles Jamison Road improvements, we've received revised 3-lane and 5-lane road widening concept plans from the engineering consultant, we're in the process of reviewing those. Geotechnical field work is also underway along the corridor. For Orangeburg Loop, the engineering consultant is addressing the county's comments on the concept plans, and we expect to receive an updated submittal this week. DOT has reviewed the 3-lane widening alternative between Dorchester Road and Berlin G. Myers Parkway, and they were agreeable to the alternative. Stallsville Loop, the draft preliminary plans have been reviewed by the county and SCDOT, so once comments are addressed by the consultant, we plan to present these at a public information meeting that we anticipate will be held in late August. For US 17A widening, environmental and field surveys continue as we work around DOT's safety project that's currently under construction along the corridor. We are also evaluating the potential extension of the project limits to begin at Loudon Drive rather than Greenway Boulevard due to the opening of the Berlin G. Myers Parkway. For Westcott Boulevard, the preliminary plans are being sent to the City of North Charleston for feedback and coordination of the public meeting that we anticipate will be held this fall. For Patriot Boulevard, we are working with the City of North Charleston to finalize an IGA for cost sharing to complete the design and permitting work from Westcott Boulevard to Weber Boulevard that's already 70% complete. Under the IGA, the city will manage the project through design completion, and then the project will be turned over to the county to bid and manage the project through construction. And lastly, I have Fairfield Road paving. We held the pre-construction meeting with L&L contractors on May 27th, and the notice to proceed has been issued for July 1st to begin construction. That concludes my updates. Are there any questions?
Thank you.
I'm just curious, you mentioned 3 and 5 lane proposals for Miles Jamison. I'm guessing if we go 5 lanes, we're buying a whole lot of houses going through Greenhurst. Is that?
That's correct, and a lot of the reason for 2 alternatives. Traffic may need one thing, but there's also a lot of impacts associated.
Okay, my mental math was like, okay, we're gonna be buying some houses if we go 5 through there. Okay, I'm just curious.
You're actually buying a lot of houses if you're going 3 lanes, quite honestly.
Probably so, yes, sir.
Yeah, yes.
I agree with that. Yep. Thank you, Sunshine.
Welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Harper.
Yes, sir. Good evening, council.
Good evening.
June 16th marks the founding of 2 iconic American companies. 1903, Henry Ford, 11 investors, founded the Ford Motor Company. Jump down to 1911. The Computing, Tabulating, and Recording Company was founded. This will be later become the International Business Machine Corporation, better known as IBM. So, looking at Phase 2 Stratton and Barrett Street, contractors working to complete the 8-inch water line adjacent to Ashley Phosphate. Once this main line work is complete and tested, partial PTO is received, we will start connecting services in that area. For the regional water interconnection phases 1 and 2, we have awarded Phase 1 to the James F. Peterson Company. And that's actually pending IRA review. The IRA has requested some additional information, which we have provided. For DSS and Pump Station 4 Force Main, Phase 1 is currently underway. Contractors cleared easements, working to install silt fencing along the limits of construction. Pipe is being delivered and placed along the route. So this is actually running from Embassy to Cone Lane. You may have noticed the big blue pipe out there. Phase 2 is waiting for RIA review for award. We've submitted all the information, and we'll be ready to go on that as soon as that clears. Harleyville Pump Station and Force Main Reversal, we're waiting, still got some things in planning and zoning to approve for plat recording. Once that has happened, we will proceed completing that design. Currently, we're about 40%. For Highway 15 and 26 interchange, that design remains ongoing with our friends at Alliance Engineering. The good news, Highway 78 water line extension, we actually advertised that project on the 12th of May. We've opened bids, and that was actually for 15,659 linear feet of 12-inch lines, 135 feet of steel casing. We are putting in 16 fire hydrants along the way for fire protection. And a few gate valves thrown in. We actually had an RIA grant for $2.1 million to fund that project. The bid that we received a few days back 1.77 million. So it appears that a lot of our bids are actually coming under budget. So we're really excited about that. For the Lower Dorchester wastewater treatment plant expansion, we're probably about 42% complete. 2-week look ahead has us pouring more concrete at the UV structures, scum pump, blower building. We're installing the maintenance building roof in this time period. So if you hadn't had a chance to take a look, that site is being transformed at a rapid rate. Maple Street relocates, contract is scheduled for final walkthrough, actually it was last Friday, and that should allow us to do final closeout and submit for our permit to operate for that project. Poplar Grove and Red Top, contractors sourcing materials, are waiting to receive those so we can start construction on that. Pecan Tree Site Extension, we have both the railroad agreement and SCLT encroachment permits in hand. We're working on the final bid forms for bidding purposes, and we hope to have that advertised late this month or early in July. Pump Station 72, you cannot miss that. If you ride down 165, you will see that pump station there. We are at about 98% complete. We are working on the perimeter fencing and asphalt, so you better take a look at it before we put the fence up. Then, Pump Station 10 Rehabilitation Inlet, we've got a project design working on rehabilitation of those manholes in that particular drainage area. Pump Station 20 Force Main and Rediversion, we've actually received bids for that project. We've got a parallel bidder of BRW Construction. This is another project that's actually coming in under budget, which we're real happy about. And this is a key to reversing the flows that currently are handled at the Hollyville wastewater treatment plant. This will reverse it and send it to our wastewater treatment plant in St. George. Shady Grove and 178 area pump station in Force Main, we have hit an 85% milestone. We've got our pump station layout finalized. Summerhaven water improvements, that design is ongoing. We've got our exhibits created. One of the things that you'll be addressing this evening is being able to obtain that new meter location from Charleston Water. Sweetbriar, contractors working on closeout documents so we can get our PTO for that. That's another success story, rapidly done to provide service to those citizens in the Sweetbriar subdivision. Waterline replacements in the Pepper Ridge, we're about at 30% milestone. We continue to work. Water main extension to Dorchester County Career and Technology Center, Hollyville Middle and Elementary Schools. We've got a PTO, permit to operate for that. This will probably be the last update for that. We're waiting for a request for services for those two locations, and they can have water. Winding Woods Project contract is working to satisfy the DOT and Army Corps restoration requirements, and with that, that project will be complete. So, any questions, sir?
Chairman.
Please.
Reedsville Waterline Upgrades Phase 1.
Yes, sir. That is actually an in-house design, and those guys have actually probably about 60% complete on that one. That one has actually come to the top of the pile in terms of trying to get that design out of the house.
So I'm going through this CIP book for water and sewer, just, and it's good. It's a good observation. Every one of these 24, 25 pages for project funding status, every one of them says funded, with the exception of 2 that say partially funded and 1 that says unfunded. So 22 funded projects, 2 partially funded, and then 1 that is an unfunded project in here. So that's.
And I will say, Chairman, that those probably will be funded due to the receipt of some additional impact fees that we've received from various and sundry people trying to move here in Dorchester County.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
And Mr. Ward, I'm gonna put you on the spot here, because with the capital improvement plan in front of us, the debt service, obviously, is some of this stuff is paid with debt service. What the assessment for this county, from a tax assessment, what is our constitutional debt limit?
I don't know what the debt limit is without looking at the page. But under the 8% cap, our 8% is 75,088,218. We have available capacity at this time of 45,495,218 dollars.
So about 29,000 committed debt under the Constitution and 45,000 uncommitted.
That's correct.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Next item on the agenda is, I'm going to give it right back to County Administrator, Mr. Ward.
Mr. Chairman and Council, the first item I have for your consideration is third reading of an ordinance, number 25-11, the Dorchester County Budget Ordinance for fiscal year 25-26, an ordinance to make appropriations for county government, educational, and fire protection purposes for Dorchester County for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025, and ending June 30, 2026, to levy taxes for the payment thereof, and to provide for the expenditures of said taxes and other revenues coming into the county. Prior to giving third reading, I will ask that you consider amendments associated with the budget for School District Number 2 operating budget and School District Number 4 operating budget. As discussed at the retreat that we held earlier this month, the first amendment to be considered is adding 7.6 mils to School District 2's budget, and the amount totaling $4,382,502. The second amendment is actually an adjustment. The original amount considered at second reading for School District 2 was at 15 mils. That number would be reduced to 6.6 mils, or $429,704. So as a result of that, what we're asking you to do is provide a final budget amount for School District 2 in the amount of $230,328, and for School District 4, we're asking you to provide a final amount of $23,599,341. So if you would consider those two amendments prior to giving third reading.
Just a question, forgive me. I thought I heard, did I hear 130,000?
Yeah.
Is that what I heard?
130 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
You
I
did, you did.
apologize.
No.
Sorry, 130,221,328. My apologies.
Okay. Apologize, Mr. Ward. Thank you.
Nope.
It's a big difference.
So do we have a motion for the amendments?
So moved.
There is a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor
Hold
of?
on, Mr. Chairman, because I got a little bit of heartburn about the school district one. They were asking for, what was it originally? District 2. It was 17 mils, is that right?
15 point, no, it was originally 15.
16.9, I think.
Yeah, 16 and change.
Okay. And
They
then,
had, I think both districts actually had two proposals.
They had an option A and option B.
Option A and option B. Option A was 16, and 16 on one and 15 and change on the other for District 4. The option A and then B was ultimately what has been asked today.
okay. And we beat this horse. I mean, go back to our Sisyphus reference where we feel like we're just pushing that rock up the hill with Act 388 continuing to just decimate Dorchester County businesses because we're having to compensate and really put the burden on the businesses in Dorchester County. And I think we need to get serious about doing something to where we either petition or we litigate against the state about how bad 388 really hurts this particular school district in this county. We're never going to catch Charleston County. I mean, I've got a friend of mine that helped me move this weekend is doing his last 3 years teaching in Charleston County because he's making $24,000 a year more than he would make in Dorchester too. And I don't blame him. I mean, but we're not going to catch those guys when they're giving money to kids for perfect attendance. We need to figure out a way with Dorchester too, in my opinion, to start getting serious about going to the state in some way, shape, or form to change their funding formula so that they send more money to District 2 and other districts that are getting adversely and disproportionately hurt our business community by state law. That's my point, Mr. Chairman. I know that I'm preaching to the choir. So,
And I'm going to look over here to my left as we say that. I don't think anyone up here would disagree with you that. My question would be standing from that standpoint, if we were the ones that need to bring the case, or if the district, since they're the ones that are adversely affected.
I think we need to start serious discussions about it.
I mean, I think we've had some initials on that standpoint, but I don't disagree with you.
Okay.
And they need to pull together the other counties that's in the same boat too and do it as a group.
The unfortunate side of that is when you look at the number of counties that are adversely affected,
It's
6 or 8.
Very small.
Very small, 6 or 8, yeah.
I'm
That
convinced
is-
we're
yeah.
probably the worst one.
Yeah.
Well,
That
and,
far.
Mr. Chairman, just to quantify what Mr. Byers is saying for the public, and I think I'm right in this, I think the loss of revenue since the implementation of 388 now for District 2 is about 200 million. Is that in the ballpark?
I think that number sounds,
About right.
Yeah, I mean, it is devastating.
all right. Any other discussion? So we had a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Or 6 in favor and 1 absent. So the next item would be a motion for third reading of the budget as amended. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. Any discussion on the amended? All in favor?
Aye.
We are 6 in favor and 1 absent. Mr. Ward?
I just want to say thank you to council, thank you to staff for the work to provide this budget, and I greatly appreciate it. Time, energy, and effort, time you all took away from your jobs and families to attend retreats, et cetera.
100%.
This is
Ditto.
No tax increase budget.
So no increase on the county side
County
or
side.
for any other agencies than those two.
That's right, other than the school districts.
Yes, sir.
I mean, and that's because they're just bleeding out at this point. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The next item I have for your consideration is third reading regarding the official map amendment number 2501 for Dorchester County to rezone the following parcels. TMS numbers 09800000009, 0100032, 02600000057, 10800000066, and 097000016 from agricultural residential district AR to industrial district I, and TMS number is 09800000001 dash 230007 0000 dash 127 and dash 230 through 233 from agricultural residential district to commercial light industrial district CLI as for third and final reading.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? Just the point, I guess, will be made is this is really, this rezoning is, once we did the countywide rezoning effort, we are doing nothing more than cleaning up things that were grandfathered in, non-conforming uses, ultimately, just in general, making them conforming under the current, what they were doing prior to the rezoning, so. All in favor? We are 6 in favor and 1 absent. Mr. Ward.
The next item I have for your consideration is third reading regarding rezoning request number 931 by Wanda Lenore to rezone 1.7 acres located at 1636 Central Avenue near Somerville, TMS number 135-16-00002, from office and institutional district OI to general commercial district CG. Ask for third and final reading.
So moved.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We are 6 in favor, 1 absent.
Next item I have for your consideration is first reading and referral to the Planning Development and Building Committee for a public hearing and recommendation regarding an ordinance to amend Dorchester County Zoning and Land Development Standards Ordinance number 0413 as previously amended with respect to Article 6, Use Group 14, to Article 7, Sections 7.1.2, 7.2.2, 7.3.2, 7.4.2, 7.5.3, 7.6.3, 7.7.3, 7.8.3, and 7.13.3, all titled Permitted Use Groups, and to Section 7.6.11, Use Performance Standards, to Article 8, Sections 8.1.2 and 8.2.2, Permitted Uses, to Article 9, Sections 9.1.2 and 9.3.2, Permitted Uses, and to Article 25, Definitions of Terms used in this ordinance. The purpose of this amendment is to have child care centers out as their own use group and establish that within appropriate zoning districts. I will ask for first reading and referral as recommended.
So moved.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? We are 6 in favor and 1 absent.
All right. Next item I have for your consideration is a motion to appoint and commission Argenis, I think this is Cabrera, as code enforcement officer to issue summons for Dorchester County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 14 Animals, and, Chapter 4 Animals, and Chapter 14, very specifically Articles 1 and 3. And I will ask council to appoint and commission Mr. Cabrera as recommended by Carol Shannon, the Director of Neighborhood Services.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? 6 in favor, 1 absent.
If you'll please stand. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
The next item I have for your consideration is a request for approval to reimburse the disaster fund in the amount of $1,212,481.50 for Tropical Storm Debbie-related expenditures incurred for emergency overtime during the event. I ask for your approval as recommended.
So moved.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just a question. Is this the formerly known as rainy day fund, sir?
So this is actually coming from the rainy day fund. What we do now is we budget in the disaster fund in anticipation of hopefully, well, I'm gonna just say it, receiving FEMA reimbursement, sir, at 75%, and reimbursement from the state
Yeah.
at 25%.
After the rules changed on how we did that.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
Any other questions? All in favor? We are 6 in favor, 1 absent.
The next item I have for your consideration is a request for approval for an amendment to the Dorchester County Community Needs Assessment dated April 2025. Very specifically, this is an amendment involving sidewalks, so we can pursue a community development block grant over several phases for sidewalks. I will ask, prior to you approving, for Mr. Haver to come forward very briefly to describe the change.
Good evening, council.
Just describe it, Brian, it's fine.
Sorry, I can't. Yeah, this is a change to the community needs assessment, basically to list sidewalks as a priority project for Dorchester County as well as Dorchester Manor. Right now, it's listed in the community needs assessment report as an infrastructure project, but in order to maximize the opportunity to get the highest amount of money and make us most competitive at the state level through the Department of Commerce, Department of Commerce already reached out to staff in a preliminary review and basically is encouraging us to amend page 17 and 18 of the document to specifically call out sidewalks. And we also had to justify the income in the phases. You'll see in your packet, we broke out the project into 4 different phases. Every year, we're eligible for up to $750,000. We believe, based on consultation with our engineer, we could probably get this work done for about $4 million, and we're looking to parcel that out over a 4-year period, get grant funding, and pay for the construction all through federal funding. And our match, again, will just be the consultant fees. So the purpose of this change tonight is to make us competitive to get the grant funding.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
There is a motion and a couple seconds. Any discussion? All in favor? You are 6 in favor, 1 absent. Mr. Ward?
The final item I have for your consideration is a request for approval of Second Amendment to the agreement by and between Dorchester County and Dorchester Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. Very specifically, this amendment for the fiscal year 2025-2026 would increase funding to Dorchester Paws by $111,000 effective the 1st of July, with no other changes being required. This was discussed at the June 5th budget retreat, and so it will result in a total budget of $527,160 going to Dorchester Paws. I request your approval to execute the amendment following your approval of the amendment.
Is there a mo- There is a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? We are 6 in favor, 1 absent. Thank you, Mr. Ward. Next item on the agenda are appointments to boards and commissions.
Mr. Chairman.
Byrne.
Thank you, sir. I would like to reappoint Ms. Sandy Price to the Accommodation Tax Advisory Committee.
So there is a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? We are unanimous. Any other appointments to boards and commissions? I think that,
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, just a question. I think I asked this last time. We still don't have an application for the Charleston Dorchester Mental Health Board of Directors.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Mr. Chairman.
no, you're fine. I was gonna do the same thing. If anybody that may be watching this or in the audience is interested in the Charleston Dorchester Mental Health Board of Directors, that Dorchester County currently has 1 vacancy. We can make that recommendation. Just need to reach out to the clerk, provide her with your credentials, and we will be happy to entertain that. So, any other appointments to boards and commissions? None appearing. County Attorney's time, Mr. John Frampton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This time I'd request second reading of the ordinance which would authorize the execution and delivery of a fee in lieu of ad valorem taxes agreement between Dorchester County and R.W. Ashley Phosphate Owner LLC. Request second reading of the ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Are 6 in favor, 1 absent.
With respect to the same industry, Mr. Chairman, I'd request second reading of the ordinance which would authorize the amendment of the existing agreement for the development of a joint county industrial park with Orangeburg County to include real property owned by R.W. Ashley Phosphate Owner LLC. Request second reading of that ordinance.
So moved.
Second.
There is a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? All are 6 in favor, 1 absent.
I would request adoption of Resolution 25-10, which is a resolution approving that certain amended and restated wholesale water supply and mutual service area agreement between the Commissioners of Public Works of the City of Charleston and Dorchester County, South Carolina, and authorizing the county administrator to execute the same. Request adoption of that resolution.
So moved.
There is a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? We are 6 in favor, 1 absent.
Mr. Chairman, I request executive session of council to discuss 2 contractual matters, the first being the potential conveyance of real estate from Lenore, Coastal Carolina to Dorchester County. The second contractual matter having to deal with 500 North Main Street property, and also one personnel matter, a subject near and dear to my heart, the county attorney's contract extension, if any.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
There is a motion.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We are in executive session. If you're hanging out, we will be back soon. If not, please drive safe. Mr. Frampton, will you bring us out of executive session?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Executive session council discussed the previously announced items, but no action was taken.
Do we have any motions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Byers?
I would move the county council authorize the county administrator to execute any and all documents necessary to consummate the transfer to Dorchester County of approximately 23.39 acres and 111.95 acres of land along the Ashley River abutting property owned by Dorchester County from Lennar, Coastal Carolina.
There is a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion?
Yes.
Mr. Byers?
I think this would be, this is property directly adjacent to the Ashley River Park, as everybody up here knows. This could be a huge expansion of the Ashley River Park along the river, and Lennar donating that to the county is a huge win for this community, so I just want to say thank you. If we end up signing on the dotted line for everything here, that's a great win for us, so appreciate Lennar doing that.
Just to add to that, Mr. Byers, if I can, this is a piece of property that for any number of years, we talked about and talked to the property owners on, in hopes of actually having that part of the greenbelt, that entire piece with all kind of different opportunities. The property owners saw an opportunity to sell it, and as it is their right to do so, they sold it and made some money off of it. So it is a win for us, because if they're willing to donate it to us, it makes it even better we didn't end up having to pay for that. So
I mean,
thank
that's,
them very much.
135 acres that, if that works out,
Yeah.
that we could be given by Lennar, so we
Oh,
appreciate that.
that's
a huge boost.
that Lennar contributing to the community, and if this goes through, that's certainly appreciated, no question about it. Are there any, I guess any other comments? All in favor? 6 in favor, 1 absent. Any other motions?
Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Friddle?
I would move that the county council authorize the county administrator to execute the declaration of restrictive covenants regarding 500 North Main Street, Somerville, with such amendments and modifications as he deems appropriate in the best interest of the county after consultation with the county staff.
There is a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? We are 6 in favor, 1 absent. Any additional motions?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I would like to make a motion to accept the extension to the contract for our county attorney for 2 years, as we discussed with him in executive session.
There is a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion? I would say, I want to thank Mr. Frampton for working through this and being patient with me as we tried to get 6 or 7 people to come together and come to that agreement. We appreciate what you've done for the county and look forward to you continuing to help us as we move forward. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, council.
Any other discussion?
Do we have a second?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
All in favor? Aye. 6 in favor, 1 absent. Are there any additional motions?
Motion to adjourn?
There is a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thank y'all.